Hello and welcome to Pickleball Therapy, the podcast dedicated to your pickleball improvement. It's the podcast with you in mind. Hope you're having a great week. CJ and I have been in the middle of our mini series this week. It's been a lot of fun meeting with thousands of players in our workshops and showing them a different way of thinking about pickleball. We talked about it in last week's podcast. It's the FOSS approach, the framework, objectives, strategies, and shots. I'm a little bit punch drunk from having said it so often in the last few days. And as we get ready for our last workshop this evening, it's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. And it's been helping a lot of players out there. So we're so happy to be able to do that for you. My name is Tony Roig. I am your podcast host. I'm also a master teaching professional, and teaching pickleball is my passion. It's what keeps me coming back to pickleball over and over again. So this week's podcast, we're going to talk about two different subjects. We're going to talk about one tip to change your game, and I'm going to give you, it's kind of a little bit of a Kansas City shuffle, a little bit of looking left and going right, but you're all going to know how to go right, which is important, but you're also going to know how to avoid going left, and you'll see what that means in a second. And then in the riff, we're going to talk about a concept that was in a movie that I saw a little bit ago now. And it's Everything Everywhere All at Once is the movie. Really good movie, interesting. But there's a phrase in that movie that I think we can apply to our pickleball experience in terms of both the positives and the negatives that sometimes happen. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach additional listeners out there and potential listeners. YouTube is an algorithm, which we're going to talk about in a second in this podcast, and reaching more players. I mean, when you subscribe or comment on it or like it, it helps us reach other players. So if you like the message, help us reach other players that way. All right. And one other thing I wanted to mention is, as I mentioned, we're in the middle of our mini series. And if you want to get the best program available anywhere to learn pickleball and to transform your game, then you're going to want to join our September pickleball system class. These classes only launch a couple of times a year. It's going to be now, and then it'll be probably next March before we have another class launch. So if you want to get in, this is the time to get in. This is not a come when you want sort of a thing. This is a 1-year course that starts a couple of times a year. So if you're ready to do it, we'd love to see you in our class, and would love to chat with you in there and get to know you better in there. The other thing I wanted to do on the coaching front is we have several of you have opted in to becoming pickleball therapists. And I just wanted to do a check-in with you. It's been a minute, and I just want to see how you're doing out there. Are you sticking to the commitment that you made? If not, it's okay. Then let's re-up our commitment. And if you want to, send me an email at therapy@betterpickleball.com. It comes to me. I'll be able to check it out. Let me know how you're doing out there. If you're interested in becoming a pickleball therapist, it's basically a commitment that you make to yourself to grow the mental part of your game, your mental relationship with pickleball. Send me an email to the same address, therapy@betterpickleball.com, and I'll send you the information so that you know what is involved with being a pickleball therapist, and you can decide whether it's right for you. All right. So I misspelled it on the board, but that's all right. You know what that means. So word of the week is unicorn. I spelled it as Ewing-corn on the slide on the YouTube. But the word of the week is unicorn. As we get into the subject today, which is this idea that the one tip you need for your game, unicorns are awesome, right? I mean, in concept, they're just, they're elegant animals. They're powerful. They're smart. They're wise. They're whatever you want it to be, right? The unicorn can be anything you want it to be in terms of its demeanor, but it's, at the end of the day, it's a fictional being, right? It's a being that exists only in our minds. And in pickleball, what we see happen out there is we see players chasing unicorns. And what I mean by that is, is that basically, you'll see a video or you'll see someone will tell you something and you'll think it's the unicorn. That's what I need. That's the thing I need. Now, there is in fact a unicorn. That's the real thing that'll help you out. But you have to be careful with chasing down unicorns which aren't real. And that's the Kansas City Shuffle. It's I can't remember the name of the movie right now. Actually, I do. It's Lucky Number 11, I think. It's with Brad. I can't remember his name. Bruce Willis. With Bruce Willis, really good movie, very entertaining. But the concept of the Kansas City Shuffle is basically you make a bunch of, like a bunch of noise on the left of a person. They look over there, but everything's happening on the right. Okay. So it's like a feint or like a trick. And you can think about that too in pickleball, meaning, sometimes what happens is we get pulled to the left. So we end up looking left, but really we should be looking right. And we're going to get into that in a little more detail in today's podcast as we go through this. So one of the ways that we are constantly pulled left in this Kansas City Shuffle, is we keep on getting offered unicorn, whether it's unicorn shots or unicorn strategies on YouTube. And I put up on the board here, YouTube algorithm. And the reason is because you have to understand when you're being fed a YouTube video, sometimes it's because you subscribe to the channel and that's closer to the content that you've been looking for. But the way YouTube works is it's an algorithm that's trying to figure out whether you'll interact with the video, because YouTube makes money off advertising, right? So they want you to interact with the videos on their platform. And I have a YouTube channel and my partner CJ Johnson has a YouTube channel. So we're on YouTube as well. And we know how this works. And the way it works is the content that is most likely to help your game, because a lot of it is not flashy, right? It's not going to get any headlines and things like that. It doesn't do well on YouTube. We joke about, some of our videos that have performed the least on our channels, the worst on our channels, are the best videos in terms of the actual help that they would provide to pickleball players who watch them and use them. Instead, what we find is pickleball players are drawn more to 3 tips for this or 2 tips for that. And so when you're on YouTube, you're subject to the YouTube algorithm. And so you're kind of playing the YouTube game. And what that means is that when you're watching YouTube videos, and it's not that the content creators are bad people or they're doing anything wrong, it's simply the ecosystem in which they're operating, i.e. the YouTube algorithm, creates it rewards content that might seem pretty cool at first, right? You look at the thumbnail or the little title and you're like, wow, that's really cool. Let me watch that. That's what I need. And that's the risk. The risk is thinking, okay, that's the unicorn. That's the shot that I need. That's the tip that's going to send me, to the next level. That's what I should do. So be at least, have your radar up when you're watching YouTube videos. I'm not telling you to turn off YouTube or, to check out from YouTube entirely. Just understand what you're getting in YouTube. Like when you go onto a YouTube video to say how to repair a washing machine or something like that, or you want to know how to garden or something, sometimes if you're looking specifically for a thing that that you want, like you want to grow papaya plants or whatever, and you Google that, well, that's probably going to be closer to what you're looking for in the video. But when you're just being fed a video by the algorithm and you open up your YouTube app and it says, this one tip will send you over the top in pickleball, that's where you got to be like, well, I wasn't really looking for this. And is it really going to help me? And the 3 questions that we ask are, is it correct? And sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Is it complete? Do I have a complete picture of what it is and how it works within the bigger picture of pickleball, the framework of pickleball? And then the last thing is it right for me where I am right now, right? Is this what I need right now in my pickleball journey? So those are some of the risks of YouTube. And the other thing that happens is, other players at the courts, they want to offer you advice to help you out. And they want to offer big advice. No one wants to offer you boring or small advice. They want to offer you the big thing, right? And I'm going to speak from experience here. When I first started playing pickleball, there was a lot of things that I learned that were wrong, period, just wrong. And the players who were trying to help me, no criticism of them. I appreciate them trying to help me. They're doing the best they can under the circumstances. They're also, not well informed about what they're trying to tell me. A couple of examples is one of the first things I learned was that the cardinal sin in pickleball is missing your serve. It's not. We discussed that pretty much at length in workshop 2 of the miniseries, but it's simply not. The other one is something like, you got to get to the MBZ. I know everybody's heard that one when you're on the serve side. Just get up here. It's just, and it creates bad habits. Players don't know why they're getting smashed with balls and things like that. And again, your friends, they're trying to do right by you. They want to help you out. The players at the course, they want to do good, but they want to do it like big stuff and give you unicorns. And that's just simply not going to work. Now let's talk about the real unicorn, because I told you I was going to tell you about the left side of the Kansas City Shuffle. I also want to tell you about the right side of the Kansas City Shuffle. And the right, and I guess I sort of backed into the correct wording because it's also the right side to follow. There is a real unicorn in pickleball, and it's not sexy. It's not, again, there will be no ESPN cameras there for this work or for this understanding and this execution. The real unicorn in pickleball is focusing on the small things in the game and just doing them better and better and better. If you watch the best players, what they do is they are excellent at all parts of the game, but in particular, they're very good at the little things, at that dink that the other team, they make theirs, the other team misses it, at the third shot that they're hitting, at their four shots, at their return of serves, all the small pieces that together make up a pickleball game. That's where the real unicorn lies. The real unicorn lies in knowing that it's the small things, the boring things, the run-of-the-mill regular things done better and better and better that are going to give you the improvement that you're looking for, the results that you're looking for when you're out on the pickleball court. Not the ESPN shot, not the shot that everyone goes nuts about. And the way that I explain it is, my favorite way to win is when my opponents don't know what happened. They're just not exactly sure how they lost that match because they cannot point to anything that I did that was worthy of them losing the match or of my team winning the match. And so that is a testament to playing really good, sound, fundamental pickleball. That is the real unicorn if you want to improve as a pickleball player. Now, in terms of what's involved, the steps and things like that, I will repeat myself from the beginning. The pickleball system is how you get the information that you need in order to pursue the real unicorn in your pickleball journey, if that's something that you're interested in. So, but remember that you want to be looking at the real unicorn. And I put up here Bruce Lee, rest in peace, Bruce. There's a quote from Bruce that I've probably used before on this podcast, but it merits repeating, which is Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the fighter who has practiced 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the fighter who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." So it's not that you need to know 10,000 kicks not very well. It's that you need to know that one kick very, very, very well. And in pickleball, you can think about that in terms of the shots that you hit during a game. And inside the pickleball system, we focus on the first four shots: serve, return, third, and fourth. Why? Well, hopefully you're hitting them every rally. I know maybe you're not right now because we're missing a third or missing a return and things like that, or a serve. But eventually you want to hit those four shots every single rally. Whereas if you think about a backhand to cross-court backhand, cut dink or a roll volley or something like that, how often are you hitting those? How often does it come into play during a game, and how impactful it is to the game? Whereas the first four shots, very impactful. So that's what we focus on in Bruce Lee's honor. All right, let's talk about the riff. So what I wanted to mention to you here is this movie that I watched called Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's a really interesting movie. It's a little bit of a mind trip. It's like multiverse and all these things happening. But there's a statement in there that stuck with me, and it's kind of hard to get your head around it, but I'm going to say it and then we'll work through it a little bit. So the statement, and I may be paraphrasing, but it's everything matters and nothing matters. So I'm going to repeat that. Everything matters and nothing matters. And that seems like it nullifies, right? Like it cancels each other out. But I don't think it does. And let me apply it to pickleball. The idea is this. When you're playing pickleball, everything matters, meaning every shot matters, the score matters, everything, just everywhere you're on the court. I mean, everything is important when you're out there. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. And what I mean by that is it's not life or death when we play pickleball. So it's finding this balance where it matters to me. It's very important to me what I'm doing on the pickleball court. If it wasn't important to you, you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. So I know that pickleball is important to you, and how you perform on the pickleball court is important to you, and that is good. I respect that. That's everything matters. But at the same time, try and maintain the thought that nothing matters. That when you miss that dink, it does not matter. When you pop that ball up, it does not matter. When you miss that return to serve, it does not matter. Everything is going to be fine. And then you find that balance between everything matters and nothing matters, and it'll make you a lot happier when you're out on the pickleball court. As always, if you enjoyed the podcast, consider rating and reviewing it. It helps us out in reaching other players. If you can leave a review, it just helps other players read them and see if this impacted you. They might be more likely to take a listen to the podcast. And same thing on the YouTube channel if you have a chance to do that. And if you're ready to join us inside the Pickleball system, now is the time to do that. The class, I don't have the exact date on me right this second. I believe it closes on the 20th or something like that. But if you go to thepickleballsystem.com, thepickleballsystem.com, you'll have all the information on there, all the details on how to join the class. And if you're ready to do that, I cannot recommend it highly enough to you. It's by far the best thing going out there at pickleball. I know I'm biased, but the testimonials make it clear. Anyway, so that's this week's podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed the podcast, as always, please share it with your friends. Remember, if you enjoyed the podcast, they probably will too. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next time.